Back now with a look on the U.S. Capitol on this sixth day of the federal government shutdown, and lawmakers are still deadlocked on passing a spending bill. Here's where we sit right now. So far, the Senate has taken 4 failed votes to advance a bill to keep the federal government open through November 21st. Senators are expected to vote again today. Democrats are pushing Republicans to extend Obamacare subsidies, but the Republicans say it should wait until the end of the year. The House will remain out of session until there's some movement in the Senate. All this taking place while the White House continues its push to send National Guard troops into major U.S. cities. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. Alice, there's new pushback on this rollout overnight into Portland, Oregon. Are we learning anything about the specifics of this deployment?
Yeah, good morning, Chesley. This has been a real back and forth, legally speaking, on the National Guard deployments into this particular city, Portland, Oregon. So just last night, in a rare Sunday evening ruling, a federal judge in Oregon blocked the Trump administration's move to send National Guard troops from California or from any other state into Portland. California's governor celebrated that ruling, writing, quote, "Trump's abuse of power won't stand." And that ruling followed a separate ruling by the same judge just one day earlier that blocked the deployment of 200 of Oregon's own National Guard soldiers into Portland. So there are those who are accusing the Trump administration of trying to circumvent that original ruling, saying you can't send Oregon National Guard troops, with the Trump administration then saying, okay, then we'll send them from other states. California said no. Texas was one of the other states called up there, and the governor there said sure. But in either case, a judge has put that effort on hold for right now.
All right, up next we're here in Chicago, and then we're hearing also that Trump's administration is sending 300 National Guard troops to Illinois, but that state's governor says there's no need. We don't need them here. Do you see any states able to successfully keep Trump's deployments out?
Right. So there have been objections across the board here in Washington, D.C. City leaders here objected. There are a lot fewer mechanisms here because there's not a state government, there's not a governor, and the federal government has, special powers here in D.C. So that one was pretty tough to block. Los Angeles, when there were National Guard troops deployed there was a concerted effort to get those reversed. And now we're seeing in Oregon that there has been, to this point, a successful round of court challenges. But the question is how long that lasts, because we know the Trump administration is going to appeal. They've already said so. And it takes a little while for these rulings to work their way through, these cases to work their way through. Just in Los Angeles last month, a federal judge ruled there that the deployment of National Guard troops and Marines was illegal. But again, that a substantial amount of time had passed before these rulings came down, and now there's a temporary injunction. So for now, you won't see the troops in Portland, in Oregon, but it just is an open question of whether ultimately will these wind up at the Supreme Court, and at some point will it swing the Trump administration's way.
Alice, any other places being named where we can see troops going in?
Yeah, the Trump administration has mentioned Baltimore, Maryland, as well as New Orleans. And those, again, New Orleans, or rather Baltimore specifically, we've heard Maryland Governor Wes Moore, who's a Democrat, very vocally opposed to the idea of having National Guard troops. So you can be sure that there's going to be another legal challenge set up there if that does come to pass.
All right, Alice Barr, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.